JP Morgan Chase CEO said the U.S. is likely to enter a recession in the next 9 months. Bank of America says the U.S. could start losing 175,000 jobs a month. Gas prices are on the rise again. Should the American people prepare for a recession?
No. Look, they've been saying this now. Every 6 months they say this. Every 6 months they look down the next 6 months and see what's going to happen. It hadn't happened yet.
President Joe Biden says that he doesn't believe there's a looming recession, but if there is, it'll be very slight. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. This is your breaking news update. Now, this came out yesterday, an exclusive interview that he had with Jake Tapper from CNN. And take a look at this subtitle. The president's remarks come after many analysts and leading banks have warned of a global recession amid the Ukraine war, rising inflation, interest rate hikes, and other uncertainties. Yet, you're going to see it for yourself. I'm going to share with you the video footage. President Joe Biden is saying there is not going to be a recession. And if there is, it's going to be ever so slight. And take a look at this. Biden also, in this interview, asked about a decision of running for a 2024 re-election bid, and he said it'll come after midterm elections. A lot of people saying he's kind of leaving the door open for a possibility of not running. And they asked the question, you are the oldest president, and a lot of people are concerned about your age. And he's actually told that a lot of people are saying they'd like to see a different person run in 2024. You're going to see his response to this. And he says nobody has gotten as much done as he has as president in his first 2 years. He says, name a single president that's done more than I have. If you got one in mind, let me know in the comments down below, you guys. And take a look at this. This is from last night. CNN's Jake Tapper ripped for a soft serve interview with President Joe Biden. Now, he's going to be addressing the economy. He addresses several things. I'm going to be primarily focusing on the part of the interview where he discusses the economy, you guys, so you can see it for yourself, midterms and his re-election. But there is the full interview with CNN if you'd like to see it, but I'm just going to share this with you and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as this is coming out. And right now, we're hearing the threats of a recession coming are severe. We heard actually Bernie Sanders say there is one on the way and the average everyday American is going to be hurting. I also heard this vocalized by multimillionaires and billionaires that were conservatives in Las Vegas just a week ago. I put that on my second channel and they said prepare yourselves, reevaluate your strategies, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to become wealthy with what's coming if you make the right moves. So check that out if you're interested, you guys. Very interesting to hear the perspectives of millionaires and billionaires and Bernie Sanders all agreeing, but Joe Biden does not agree with that perspective, saying things are going to be fine. Well, you guys, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash the like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button? If you got any specific questions, Instagram at SteveRam3, and also, as I mentioned, second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to help you out with growing wealth, personal finance. And if you want access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation that I've assembled, checks on every level, states, cities, counties, it's at www.reliefroadmap.com. And more programs are going to be added as there's more stimulus provisions coming out on state, city, and county levels available for people. It's going to be added to the list, you guys. But with that being said, let's take a look at this interview. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
The midterm elections are 4 weeks from today. The economy remains top of mind for voters. JP Morgan Chase CEO said the U.S. is likely to enter a recession in the next 9 months. Bank of America says the U.S. could start losing 175,000 jobs a month. Gas prices are on the rise again. Should the American people prepare for a recession?
No. Look, they've been saying this now. Every 6 months they say this. Every 6 months they look down the next 6 months and see what's going to happen. It hadn't happened yet. It hadn't. There's no guarantee that there's going to be. I don't think there will be a recession. If it is, it'll be a very slight recession. That is, we'll move down slightly. Well, look, think about what's happened. We have done more. We're in a better position than any other major country in the world, economically and politically. We still have real problems, but look what we got done. We passed so much legislation that significantly makes a point about, for example, the American Rescue Plan, the legislation to deal with inflation, the Inflation Act. We moved along. I mean, there's so much that's been accomplished that the idea that there's an automaticity to a recession is just not there. They've been predicting this off and on for the last.
But you just said that a slight recession is possible.
So it is possible. Look, it's possible. I don't anticipate it. What I do think, look, we talk about the impact on families. The families they have reason to be concerned about energy prices. They have reason to be concerned about a whole range of issues. But look what we've done. We've been able to, the Inflation Reduction Act, there's more, look, I know I always quoted my dad, but my dad used to say, is there any breathing room for a middle-class family? And the breathing room is after all the bills are paid at the end of the month, they have anything left. And there's more than one way to bring down the monthly cost for people who in fact are struggling, to make sure they have the ends meet and they have enough money. And that's what we've done with the Inflation Reduction Act. Look, we've reduced drug prices. We've allowed, for the first time, we've been trying for years to get Medicare to be able to negotiate drug prices. We pay the highest drug prices of any nation in the world, any major nation. We're going to be in a situation where no senior is going to have to pay more than $2,000 a year for the drugs, no matter how much they cost. We've reduced the price. We're going to make sure that nobody has to pay more than $35 a month for insulin, et cetera. So there's so much that we've done. And the same on energy. We passed look, what I ran on, I said we're going to deal with energy.
Right.
And the energy problem, we're going to deal with the whole notion of global warming. We passed $368 billion worth of help, which, as the same bankers talk about, is going to bring $1.7 trillion off the sidelines in investment. Look what's happened. Look at the investment that's going on in America right now.
Yeah. So you think Democrats have something to run on?
Oh, I think we do. I know we do. And here's the contrast. We know what's the Republican platform to run on? What are they running on? What are they for? They want to put Social Security on the chopping block every 5 years, and the other leader comes along and says, no, every year it should be up for grabs. Medicare, Medicaid. I mean, these aren't negotiable items in terms of whether you're going to continue them or not. The first thing they said they're going to do is get rid of the Inflation Reduction Act. And so what's that do? They're going to raise drug prices, raise medical costs again, be sure that we're going to no longer be able to have the ability to have tax credits for weatherizing your home, saving money. I mean, I don't know what they're for.
Our reporting, CNN's reporting and the Washington Post reporting suggests that prosecutors think they have enough to charge your son Hunter for tax crimes and a false statement about a gun purchase. Personally and politically, how do you react to that?
Well, first of all, I'm proud of my son. This is a kid who got, not a kid, he's a grown man. He got hooked on, like many families have had happen, hooked on drugs. He's overcome that. He's established a new life. He is, I'm confident that what he says and does are consistent with what happens. For example, he wrote a book about his problems and was straightforward about it. I'm proud of him. He came along and said, by the way, this thing about a gun, I didn't know anything about it, but turns out that when he made an application to purchase a gun, what happened was I guess you get asked, you get asked the question, are you on drugs, you use drugs? He said no. And he wrote about saying no in his book. So I have great confidence in my son. I love him, and he's on the straight and narrow, and he has been for a couple of years now, and I'm just so proud of him.
You're about to turn 80 next month. Happy birthday ahead of time. Whenever anyone raises concerns about your age, you're the oldest president in the history of the United States, you always say, watch me. Voters have been watching you. Democratic voters approve of the job you're doing. Democratic voters overwhelmingly like you. But one poll shows that almost 2/3 of Democratic voters want a new nominee in 2024. And the top reason they gave was your age. So what's your message to Democrats who like you, who like what you've done, but are concerned about your age and the demands of the job?
Well, they're concerned about whether or not I can get anything done. Look what I've gotten done. Name me a president in recent history who's gotten as much done as I have in the first 2 years. Not a joke. You may not like what I got done, but the vast majority of the American people do like what I got done. And so it's a matter of, can you do the job? And I believe I can do the job. I've been able to do the job. I've gotten more done. I got the Inflation Reduction. I got all these pieces of legislation passed. And I ran on that. I said this is what I was going to do. And I'm still getting it done. We've got, dealing with, making sure that veterans get compensated for the
burn pits.
The burn pits, making sure that we're in a situation where we finally have action on guns. And by the way, I'm going to get an assault weapons ban. Before this is over, I'm going to get that again. Not a joke. And watch. And so I just think there's it's a matter of, has anybody done more in the first 2 years of their administration for a guy who they've been saying this about my age since I began to run. Mm-hmm. And so, we can come work out with me in the morning.
Anytime. The big question, of course, is when you're going to make an official announcement about whether or not you're going to run for 2024 for re-election. Do you think you'll make a decision before the end of the year?
Well, look, I'm not going to make this about my decision. I'm going to make this about this off-year election. After that's done in November, then I'm going to be in the process of deciding.
Is one of the calculations that you think you're the only one who can beat Donald Trump?
I believe I can beat Donald Trump again.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with the president that the economy is just fine, there's not going to be a recession, and that the Democrats, they've accomplished a lot, and they've got a lot to run on, and will very likely hold on to power in Congress? And the president, he could do well if he runs again, and he could defeat former President Donald Trump in a re-election. Let me know your thoughts, or do you disagree and think Democrats have not done enough? We are heading towards a recession. The economy is not doing well, and they're likely not going to win in the midterm elections. And also, President Joe Biden might not do as well as he thinks if he runs again another time in 2024. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. Now, whatever unfolds, I will keep you up to date. And also, if you missed my video from earlier this morning, you're going to want to check it out, as we have updates on Social Security of new checks rolling out today, and tomorrow is a big day for Social Security, as we're hearing the COLA announcement is going to be released along with the CPI data, which is going to be taking effect in the beginning of 2023. And also the legislation for Social Security solvency and increases back on the table in Congress for consideration. I share with you all the details in this morning's video. So check that out right after this one if you missed it. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me. That is the latest. If you made it this far, you haven't already, don't forget, hit the like button. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. Hit me up at Instagram at SteveRam3 with any questions. Check out my second channel, Steve Ram Finance. And if you want access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation on every level, literally over 100. I spent 3 months assembling it all at www.reliefroadmap.com, so you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.